East Stroudsburg University men's basketball with head coach Jeff Wilson, senior forward Dwayne Johnson is the Warriors selected to the NCAA Division II Tournament for the third time in 4 years. Coach Wilson, we'll just start with you. You were the automatic bid last year. This year you had to wait a little longer to find out as the at-large, but you guys are in the field.
Yeah, there's only 41 at-large bids in the country. There's 64 teams total selected for this tournament, and it's a great honor and shows the value of your body of work. We struggled a little bit down the stretch. We weren't successful in our game against Slippery Rock last weekend, but we still have an opportunity to play based on the body of work for the entire year.
And particularly in the Atlantic region, 43 schools, I believe, overall, 3 automatic bids. So you're really looking at 40 schools for the 5 at-large. I mean, that's a very tall task for a team when you start the season. You guys did put together a good strength of schedule from your out-of-league games, Otterson, Broadus, Shepherd, and then within the PSAC, what you're able to do.
Yeah, the Atlantic region is one of the best regions in the country. We've been represented well every year beyond even the regional qualifying. But there were 10 teams this year with 20 wins, another with 19, and 3 more with 18. So when you have 14 teams with 18 or more wins, it shows the quality of the region in itself. Our guys should be very proud with the selection, and we're looking forward to going to represent them well.
Dwayne, like we said last year, you guys were the automatic by winning the PSAC championship. This year, you had to go right until 10:30 or 10:35 until you found out. What was the feeling like for you guys as you learned that you were going to be in the NCAA tournament again?
No, it was definitely a great feeling. Last year we knew automatically that we would be in it, so this year we were really anxious, definitely very anxious around 10:15, 10:30 when it started, but it's definitely a great feeling to get in.
Now, as you guys have made the tournament now 3 times in 4 years, and your 4 years at ESU, I'm sure Coach Wilson will tell you it's very difficult to be able to do that. But just the legacy that your class in particular has been able to put together, I'm sure is something you guys are very proud of.
Yeah, we're definitely proud of it. This is what we envisioned when Coach Potts and Coach Wilson, they recruited all of us as a group, and definitely we're this time to represent East Stroudsburg right and finally put us on the national map.
Coach Wilson, you were an assistant coach the previous time that ESU was in the NCAA tournament in 1990. You made the East Region final. What have you said to these guys about really how demanding it is to have this run to go in 2010, then 2012 and 13?
We haven't talked a lot about it. We'll probably talk a little bit about that more today. But when you look at East Stroudsburg University only having 1 team that went into the NCAA tournament, and now Dwayne, Terrence, Dan Clapp, Blair Ramsey, and Gerald Bridges, that class has gone in 3 or 4 years. That shows how special that class is, and the legacy that these guys are leaving. So they should be very proud of that. They do have a little work to do. That other team in 90 did win a game and got to the Final 16 in the country before losing again. And so we talked last year about trying to get into a fraternity and win the PSAC championship. They did that, so they joined that 90 team in doing that. Now this year, hopefully they can join a fraternity and win at least an NCAA game. I know these guys have the goal of doing more than that, but you got to win the first one first, or you don't have the opportunity to do something else.
Dwayne, back up a couple of weeks as you guys won the PSAC East regular season championship. I know that was something that you had on your list of goals to start the season. But to do that and to do the 4 PSAC Final Fours as well, you guys have been battle tested. You and Terrence have played 11 conference and NCAA tournament games at this point, so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, we definitely know what we're getting into. It's definitely, I mean, the pressure's there, but we just feel as though if we just stick to what we do well, and that's pressing and everything, we feel like we can win the game, and then we can go as far as we want.
The PSAC East postseason awards that came out last week, Coach Wilson was the Coach of the Year. You were named the second team, Wiss and Terrence on the first team, and Wiss the Player of the Year. You guys have put together this year, a list of numbers and credentials. Your 3-time All-Conference. Just talk a little bit about that and what you guys collectively have done.
Well, individually, we feel like we've done well and we've been very successful, but definitely the goal is definitely to win. You don't get none of those recommendations if you don't win. So we know how important winning is, so we just feel as though we keep doing that, then we'll get everything else that we deserve.
What have you seen from Terrence this year and from Wiss. Obviously, those guys have had outstanding seasons as well.
Oh, Wiss, he's definitely he's a great scorer. He's just, the game's really easy to him. We say that to him all the time. He can seem like he's out of it, but he can just score with the best of them, man. Terrence, he's definitely, when he's on the court, to me, he's the best big man, one of the best big men in the country in D2. So definitely when he's not in foul trouble and everything, when he's aggressive, when we get him the ball, those are definitely two great players.
Coach, we've talked about what Dwayne in particular has meant to your program, and the 3L Conference Awards are part of it. But so many of the things that he does that don't really show up.
Yeah, Dwayne's the guy that, for us, does everything. He guards the other team's best wing on most nights. He's a great rebounder from the guard spots. He's able to score it in a variety of ways, getting it off the glass, getting out in transition, attacking the rim. He's added some versatility on his jump shot. And you know, when you look at all those things combined and where he's going to be at in the record books for Stroudsburg University, his career is one of the best careers of any player in school history, and he needs to be proud of that.
Let's look at IUP very quickly. Your first-round opponent, you beat them here, the second game of the 14-game win streak. Obviously, it's 2 months ago, but 57-55 here. Dwayne, what do you recall from that game, and what are you guys going to have to take from that into this weekend?
Well, it was a very physical game. IUP is a very physical team, and it was very low scoring. It was 58-56, but we know that they're definitely a better team than they were, and we don't have the home field advantage that we had. So we definitely have to stick to what we do well, and that's pressing and everything. We just have to stay physical with them, and hopefully just come up with the same outcome.
Coach, you did have to grind out that win back in January. IUP this past weekend and won the PSAC title, beat Westchester 92-76, and then they came back and won 52-46. So it shows that they can kind of play two different styles if they need to.
Yeah, they have a lot of versatility. And when you look at it, you look at the last 4 years that they've had, they put together a great streak as well. We have a lot of respect for their program going into the weekend, obviously. We just need to be a little bit more consistent. We got off to a bad start against Slippery Rock. We know IUP is going to be as physical, if not more physical, than Slippery Rock was. And the thing about it is now it's basically a one-and-done season. If you lose here, there is no more selection shows. There's none of those things that you can gear up for. Now it's you lay it all on the line by any means necessary to try to get the result, which is the W.
Dwayne, how different is this year's trip going to be, and last year's as well, to what you guys went through as freshmen? You were really 5 months into your college career at that point. I'm sure it's a little different perspective for you.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different. Freshman year was a little surreal. It was the first time in 20 years that we got to the tournament, so we really were happy to be in it. And last year we felt as though we got a little bad break with West Liberty, but we didn't play too well. So this year we're definitely just looking to it as we want to go into it, win some games. We're not just happy to be in. We want to make a statement.
And then, Coach, you had talked about, obviously, your starting five in particular, the seniors, Gerald, and then Matt Tobin as well. But, just a good chance to go through some of the other contributions of guys, because you do play 10, 11, 12 guys a night, and everybody at some point has been a contributor.
Yeah, I think that's one of the positives with our team this year. There's a lot of guys that have contributed in a lot of different ways. You talk about the starters, obviously. Terrence, Dwayne, Wiss grab a lot of the headlines. Matt Tobin has had a very solid year. I think he was second in the East in assists. Gerald Bridges has made some huge shots in his career for us. Blair Ramsey off the bench is playing really good basketball right now as a backup and helping to lead the team. He's a very aggressive kid. But then you get a lot of contributions even behind that. Lamont Tillery, probably the last month, has been our most consistent four-man. Zach Runkle's an energy guy. So you get a lot of different contributions from a lot of different guys. And that's a very positive thing, especially not just for this year, but hopefully moving forward when you have some guys that you look at and say, hey, those guys might be able to get it done in the future and keep our program at that elevated level.
And then, Coach, finally, obviously you guys are back in this thing. What do you take from what you've done as a team the last couple of years and then put into your preparation this week?
Well, I just think it's when you look at the body of work for these guys and being able to do it for 4 straight years, get to 4 PSAC semifinals, that's a great accomplishment in itself. That means you're playing consistently over a long period of time. And that means over that period of time, while we're talking about Dwayne, Terrence, and some of those guys that are going to graduate this year, there have been a lot of other players in there as well. So there's been a lot of buy-in from a lot of people. These guys are the beneficiaries because they're the four-year class that's been able to put that together. But there's a lot of other people that have had to be on the right page. And as a coach, when you try to put it together and you try to get that buy-in from all your players, that's a special thing because that doesn't always happen.
Third best winning percentage in the Atlantic region the last 4 years, and of course you guys are back in the regional, so we wish you the best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.